Once you have your dataset ready, it's time to train a model. To build a workflow for training your model, click on the Create a New Workflow button in the Workflow section. If this is your first time building a workflow, don't worry. You will be greeted with a short questionnaire to help us understand your requirements and recommend something suitable for you. In this example, we want to train a model to count cars using bounding boxes. So we'll type in our workflow name, then select Object Detection. If you wish to perform other tasks such as segmentation or classification, select the appropriate task. Then we want to select an appropriate model based on two factors: inference speed and accuracy. In this case, we want the model to run in real time as cars travel fast. Hence, we'll opt for a smaller model that is more lightweight, but at the slight expense of accuracy. Since our task of counting cars is not overly complex, we can afford to double down on the inference speed by narrowing down to the smallest models. Once your questionnaire is complete, click on Build Model Workflow and we will help you to create a workflow. The dataset block is a mandatory block that contains your annotated data. You can create it by right-clicking on the canvas and selecting the Project Dataset option. You can customize dataset settings such as the percentage of data that's being used for training versus that for validation, specific asset groups, and classes that you want to use for training if you don't want to include the entire dataset, as well as specific images that you want to include in the evaluation preview so that you can view model predictions across the different checkpoints. You can also enable sliding windows, which subdivides your images into smaller tiles. This helps the model detect small objects better, as the small objects will appear larger relative to the new image size. The augmentations block is an optional block that helps to create variation in your dataset by applying certain transformations. You can create it by right-clicking on the canvas and selecting the augmentations option. The input of this block should be connected to the output of the dataset block. You can choose the augmentations you want, ranging from spatial transforms to color space transforms. This will be helpful to your model as it simulates changing environmental conditions such as lighting. It can also help the model to learn to detect objects better, no matter where they are situated in the image. You can customize the settings by enabling the advanced mode, where you can adjust the random probability that the augmentation is applied, as well as the strength of the augmentation. The model block is a mandatory block that contains the model architecture you have selected. You can create it by right-clicking on the canvas, hover over the models option, and selecting your desired model architecture in the expanded list. The input of this block should be connected to either the output of the dataset block or the output of the augmentations block if augmentations are enabled. For advanced users, you can customize the model hyperparameters such as the batch size, number of training steps, optimizer, as well as the learning rate. You are also able to select an existing model checkpoint that has previously been trained in the project, provided that the model architecture is the same. This allows you to resume the training progress instead of starting from scratch, which is a huge time and cost saver.